Oh no. Hello world, it's me, Briar, and welcome to... I dropped it. I almost dropped it again. Welcome to my review of I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me. Now, I actually finished this Tuesday night. I tried several attempts to film a review of this yesterday, and I'm just like, there was so much to say, and I was so not articulate. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sit on it. I'm not going to start the next book that I was going to read. So let me just sit on it. Let me just digest, because this book is only like 339 pages, but it is so dense with meaning and experience. Before I get into my thoughts on the book, spoilers abound. If you do not like spoilers, this is your chance to skedaddle. And if you don't care about spoilers for whatever reason, hello, hi, welcome, you may stay, or do what you want. I don't care. Anyway, this was really good. First and foremost, this was phenomenal. The only really minor quibble, and I do mean minor quibble, I have with it is that I just would have liked it to go a little bit faster. I understand why it didn't. First and foremost, I understand why it didn't. That is not a slight against the writing decisions made. That is a briar braining. I'm just impatient. So that's the only thing about my enjoyment of this book that kind of brought it down. I really like the structure of how Jameson laid out what may be a potential trigger in their book. Jameson Shea is the author. They are also non-binary, which is, I was so excited about reading from a non-binary author. I've never, to my knowledge, read a non-binary author before, so excited. I love this book, and it's a little hard to talk about because there's so much that I could say, and I don't know how to say it, is the problem. So I'm gonna do my best. Let's do my best. First and foremost, Laure. I love Laure. I absolutely adore Laure. I really like the slow burn that we got on her grappling with her more monstrous side versus her human side, but even in her monstrosity, she was ultimately very human. Like, at her worst, it's just, you know why she's doing it. Like, it's very clear what her motivations are. And yeah, she does actively voice it. It's kind of on the nose sometimes, but unlike other works that I have read, those moments that it's on the nose, it is not in a way that's like beating you, like just beating you over the head with it. For example, like Fourth Wing mentions the fact that you can die in the first trial 26 times in the 20-page first chapter. I think there are maybe 3 or 4, possibly 5 at the most, that moments where it is on the nose what Jameson Shea is trying to say with how racist and elitist the ballet company. I think it's on the nose maybe 4 or 5 times in the entirety of the 339 pages, and I think that they really used the outright statements to their benefit. That is my current opinion. It could change on a reread. I am putting this on my list of rereads. Maybe not next year. Maybe somewhere upwards of 2027. I think I need some space with this book. Not because I don't like it. Not because I don't enjoy it so much. Specifically, it's just there are things in this book that I was fully aware of going into it because of the way that it was laid out. It was like having a conversation. It was just a list. There are some things in it that I need to give pause to. But other than that, just it was also just very dense and rich, and I really enjoyed the conversation that was had in this book, because this book doesn't feel like just a narrative. It feels like a conversation in a lot of aspects. I'm gonna be real. The vast majority of the kind of Frenchy ballet words, whoop, completely missed it. Okay, I didn't know how to picture a lot of the scenes. I'm not a ballerina. I wanted to be a ballerina when I was younger. My mother very quickly shut that down. But I'm not really up on the terminology, so I guess a ballerina or somebody who is at least experienced in the world of ballet would have to say whether or not this is well written from that standpoint. I don't know. I enjoyed the ride. I couldn't picture half of the dances because I'm not really a visual person and I don't know what all those words mean. There's a lot of things that I would not be able to pronounce in this work, but I had the time of my life reading this. I still enjoyed it, even though sometimes when during the dancing sequences I didn't really know what was going on. I'm just like, I'm gonna imagine a twirl and call it a day. But that said, I think my favorite aspect of this is probably the relationships. I enjoyed Laurie's relationship with Ander a lot more than I thought I was going into this. Like, when Ander was first introduced, I didn't really give him much thought. I'm like, okay, all right, there's this weird pretty guy, cool. And then, like, we got to the scene where he was basically baiting Laurie into hurting him, and she was into it, he was into it, and it was giving very much hurt me mommy vibes. And I enjoyed that. The way that it played out, it was just like, it was such a thrill, I guess. It was like, I think what it reminded me of was a little bit of Laure on Briar. Okay, I grew up Southern Baptist, deep South Mississippi, and even though my family has always touted that I was very rebellious and headstrong, not really the case. If anybody was rebellious, it was my brother. I just disagreed with a lot. Okay, when it came to following the rules, I was lawful good paladin. Okay, I almost never lied. I felt guilty for talking back. I didn't really get my smart mouth until I was like 16 or 17, when I was just processing a whole lot of trauma and just done with the shit that I had to put up with from my family, from school, from church. I was done. So they would let the times that I disagreed with or with them dictate to them that I was a rebellious, mouthy child. No, I was just a lot of times I didn't understand why rules were in place, and me asking questions was not disrespecting authority. It was me trying to understand. Anyway, all that to say, the scene between Andor and Laurie gave me the vibes of me going out with a whole bunch of friends to walk around town, get some drinks and snacks from the gas station, and then go stargazing. But because most of my friends were guys, there was only like one other girl. And I did think I was a girl back then. Obviously not. But there was only one other like AFAB/girl in the group. I felt bad. I felt like I was a baddie. I felt like I was finally stepping out of this very tight bubble that I had this very tight high standard that I always held myself. And I was finally stepping out of that, experiencing this rush of freedom, and experiencing this new relationship dynamic that I had never experienced, because the last time I was out at night with a guy was between these two buildings that were 30 feet apart, and this guy and I were in full view of any adults, had been in full view of the adults in one building, and were walking full view of adults to another building 6 feet apart, social distancing before 2020 COVID hit. And I got screamed at while he got to go eat snacks. Okay, that was my last experience of walking anywhere with the guy at night alone. Now I was in a whole group of guys, and the girl, I guess my stepdad's friend mistook her as a guy, and he was like yelling at me. And so this rush, because like it very, and that might not sound like they relate, but to me it did, because like in this moment Laure is kind of grappling with herself, like, should I do this, should I not, should I give into it a little bit? But like, she's so excited by the thrill of it, and she's so excited because Andor's having a good time. She wants to have a good time. I don't know, just the vibes just were very nostalgic for that scene. And it was very cute and flirty dynamic between her and Andor that I just kind of got me on board with that ship. And at this point I didn't know fully if Laure was bi. I was hoping that she was bi because she did have a relationship with another ballerina named Sabine. So I was hoping that she was bi, and it turns out she is bi. She and Andor do have a thing later on in the book, and this is like the first straight ship that I fully shipped and enjoyed wholeheartedly in a while. And by straight ship, I just mean straight presenting relationship. Like, obviously, Laurie's not straight. And I don't know about Andor. I don't know. He could be straight. He could be bi. I don't know. He could be demisexual. We don't know. But I really enjoyed it. I also love how Laure is a very avoidant personality, and very, very much kind of a martyr, and actively gets called out on it. And so, like, in the later parts of this book, we see her overcoming that kind of weakness, that desire to run away, that desire to, just suffer quietly. Because it's very full circle, because the very first paragraph, the thing that she has to overcome, and to some degree, because this is kind of a realization that I just made when I said that, because this is a very layered book. I could sit here and peel the layers just all day. So the very first paragraph of the book: we were desperate to be the girl who dies always, eager to show how dolefully we danced, how prettily we perished, in every ballet, at every audition. In every room was a chance to have our graceful suffering acknowledged. That is the environment. That is the environment that she fought to be in, that she grew up in, and not specifically to have her suffering put on display. That's not what I'm saying. She loves the performance aspect of it. She loves performing. She loves dancing. She loves the emotions that it elicits from her, the accomplishment that it gives her. Laure is at the top of her class. She has devoted her life to something that expects her to suffer publicly, very, very much publicly, and get paid pennies to do so. In most cases, she has made every sacrifice. She has sacrificed her relationship with her family. She has sacrificed her, honestly, to a very, I don't know what adjective I'm thinking of one. I think can't put my finger on it. But anyway, to a degree, she has sacrificed her relationship with herself. And she even says something along those lines in the book, in order to feed this passion of hers. And this trouble that she has with building relationships, I like how it was. I like how it was explored, because it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense why she would have to struggle against this avoidant personality and this tendency to martyrdom. Because her life has been a performance up until this point. She has not had time or luxury to like introspect and soul search and whatnot. She has had to give it her all to be best, like to be demonstrably leagues ahead of the rest of the ballet troupe, because she is the top ballerina. And I feel like a lot of the times when she's lashing out against these people, that's overcompensation. It feels like when I first left Christianity and I was very militant in my atheism, and it feels like she is very militant about her fighting back, because she's kind of veering way in the opposite direction of her being avoidant, her usual avoidant personality, where she's got to grit her teeth, grin and bear it, keep on pushing, keep on moving, and not address what is going on in the moment. So when she gets this power, she veers in the other direction, where she's just like punching through ceilings, just like forcefully fighting her way into the spotlight, where she is actively lashing out and not just grinning and bearing it anymore. She's retaliating. But when that is stripped away from her, when it all comes crashing down, when all of her mistakes come crashing on her head, she slips right back into that avoidant personality. And so we get, like, after Coralie removes her first mark, and we're gonna get to Coralie. Okay, we're gonna we're gonna get to Coralie. But like when Coralie strips away her deals, we now get a second fight against her two main flaws, which is her martyrdom and her avoidant personality. It's a much slower fight. It's a much subtler fight. And it is not just her going off the rails, the complete opposite of what she has always done. It is her taking a moment, stepping back, and rewiring her life, basically. I think one of the most powerful moments in the book for me personally was when she was walking away from the ballet, when she outright quit, and she was kind of having this conversation with herself about how she hated the culture, not the craft, because as the culture got more toxic and more dangerous, and it was already toxic and dangerous, like girl was picking thumbtacks out of her slippers before she even graduated. Okay, slippers is not the right word. Out of her shoes. There's a specific, I don't know. Briar braining, I guess. But this was already a very dark, devious world for her. And it's a dark, devious world. Look, from what I understand of ballet, from what I have heard from ballerinas that I have met and that I watch, be it on TikTok, YouTube, whatever, ballet is already a very duplicitous, dubious, devious, like, environment. It's brutal. And though I don't like how my mother shut down my dreams of being a ballerina, I don't like how she did that. I am to a degree grateful, because I already had enough shit on my shoulders. I don't think I could survive ballet. And that's even as a white bitch. That is even as a white bitch. I can't imagine being in fucking Paris among elites, like rich as fuck elites, as a black girl. Just, I'm confrontational in a lot of degrees. I'm not that confrontational. And so like reading about the experience is just like, to a degree, I was just kind of like, Laure, how do you do it? How do you keep going? God damn. Because And that is addressed in the book, because Coralie does actually try, like, because she followed Josephine and Laure to Acheron, watched the deal be made, and then she tried to make a deal, and Acheron was like, basically, get the fuck out of my face, bitch. Bye. Go away, leave. And Coralie was mad. She was just mad about it. So she went and she made a deal with the other river, Lethe, and started killing people. She killed Josephine, and then she killed Ciro. And she was trying to give Laure the opportunities to come forward about the deal that she made with Acheron. And Laure, of course, didn't. Why the fuck would she? And Coralie took that personally. Now, my thing with Coralie, I hate her. I hate her. She needs to get out of my face. But one of the reasons that I hate her, because I do try to be self-aware, and part of media literacy when you're reading books, not just to enjoy them, you're also reading them to learn, if not about the world, then about yourself. And so looking at Coralie, to be perfectly honest, was like looking at what kind of person I could have become had I not learned to shut the fuck up and actually listen to people who have experiences that I will never have, and who are sharing those experiences in order to better their well-being and the well-being of people like them. Coralie never showed any genuine interest in Laure as a person. She saw somebody that she could take care of, because she was compensating for how useless her mother made her feel, and how much pressure she was under when her mother was just bearing over her with her legacy, her father with his legacy. Like, I understand where Coralie is coming from. To a degree, I have experienced where Coralie is coming from. Not only do I also have white bitch privilege, but I've had family members who were very influential in their communities, and because they were so influential in their communities, small as those communities may have been, I had to uphold a certain standard that my brother was also expected to uphold, but to a lesser degree, because he was a boy. And because he was a boy, he could do all this other stuff, and this, that, and the other thing. And, you know, I'm not going into detail because that's his business. But, like, my transgressions were a lot milder than the kind of stuff that they preached about not being okay with, in regards to what my brother was doing. And yet I step a toe. My brother could run far away from the line, right? I step a toe out of the line, and they're cracking down. There was a lot of pressure to uphold the certain image that I was just not capable of upholding, because I didn't understand that image. First of all, I didn't understand what that image needed to be. So a lot of my attempts to uphold it were fumbles. So I get the pain there from Coralie's end. I get the trauma there. I get that she is dancing on pins and needles, and I won't say that she's doing the best that she can with what she has, but she's doing what she thinks is the best she can with what she has, because she hasn't broadened her lens, her horizon, if that makes sense. So to a degree, I really largely do relate to Coralie, because I could have been Coralie, and I don't like that image. Personally, I don't like that image. The fact that Coralie is what I could have been had I remained willfully ignorant, entrenched in how I was raised to behave, or entrenched in my very narrow view of how I was raised to behave. It's very complicated. It's very complicated to understand. There's like a web of context that I am trying to navigate through. It's wild. But while I don't personally like looking in that mirror, and it does cause me to hate Coralie as a person, I can't think of a better antagonist for this book. I can't think of a better foil to Laure. And I really like the finale, the way that, yes, it was a slow build there, and honestly, to me, it felt like a little out of nowhere at first. Upon first reading, it felt like Coralie being the having made the deal with Lethe came out of nowhere. But the more I sat on it, the more I thought about it, no, that made perfect sense. And the slow build of tension between Coralie and Laure, all the petty little remarks, Coralie's fucking bullshit, just being white girl tears, rich white girl tears over in the corner. Oh my God. The way that it culminated, it made perfect sense. And I feel like it was the perfect culmination. And Laurie's triumph over Coralie, it was a quiet, sad triumph. And it made my heart break for her, because best friend breakups are one thing, but when you think about the fact that Coralie was Laurie's only rock, only person for the past 12 years of her life, that is most of her life. She didn't have anybody else to lean on until recently, as far as the book is concerned. She didn't have anybody else. She just had Coralie. Her dad and her mom divorced, and her mom moved back to the U.S. Her dad was distant for his own reasons. And yeah, she found companionship in Josephine, but then Josephine died. She started building a better rapport with Ciro. Ciro done died. And then, yeah, now she has a better relationship with Andor and Keturah. She doesn't know how to cultivate that relationship, because even with her friendship with Coralie, that was, even before things started going wrong, even before the deal, there was some unknowable tension there, or not unknowable, I don't know how to put into words the tension there. There was like a two-faced aspect to Coralie, even before the deal. But because even with that two-faced nonsense that Coralie would sometimes pull, it just, who else did Laure have to fall back on? You know? And so I really like how that affected her relationships. And it's never stated that her relationship with Coralie is why she had trouble building other relationships. That's never outright stated. But it is so clear in the way that it is being written, so clear in the narrative, that even my neurodivergent ass caught on to it. So oh my God, I love it. Very, very good book. Very, very meaningful book. I feel like I could talk for hours about the conversations that this book could spark. The reason I'm not going too far into the racism, that's not something that I've experienced, and that needs, I feel like, if that kind of discussion is what you're looking for, you need to hear it from somebody who actually experiences that, and somebody who is much more articulate than I am. I will be honest, it is a very slow read. It is a very slow burn. This book is not for everybody. If you're looking to read it purely for enjoyment, and you don't like slow burn dramas, and with some degree of suspense that is less horror but more dramatic, more relationship centered, more introspection centered, you are not going to enjoy this book. If you are somebody who likes conversations, if you are somebody who likes the slower thing, even I, even I would have liked it to be a little bit faster. And I'm usually somebody who just like likes to amble. Whenever it comes to social issues, I like to amble through those conversations and like enjoy the slow build to whatever philosophical or social point we're trying to make. I enjoy that. I really enjoy dialogue, be it actual literal dialogue or prose that kind of feels like dialogue. If that makes that probably doesn't. I don't know how else to express it. I'm so sorry. This is what made this review so hard to film yesterday, is because there are so many things that I want to say that I don't have the words to say, and it was stressing me out. Excuse me. But yeah, all in all, 5 out of 5 stars. I wish this was in better condition. This was in perfect condition when I bought it, and within the week. I can't have nice things. But a well-marked book is a well-loved book. So, and I do love this book, and I will revisit it at some point in the future. Probably not next year. Maybe 2027. It's just, oh my god, it's so good. And I am definitely looking forward to the next book, I Am the Dark That Answers When You Call. I don't know what to expect for the book 2. Like, I kind of have an idea of what to expect for South is the Sea, which is the other book that I reviewed. Based on the first book, I don't know what to expect from this one. I genuinely don't. I think, I'm so sorry. Like, there's cat hair that keeps getting into my nose. If I had to hazard a guess, though, for book 2, I'm thinking Coralie's family is probably going to have some degree of involvement, specifically her mother. That's it. That's the best I got. Like, maybe Coralie, or maybe Coralie left something behind, for somebody. Like, maybe her mother is cleaning out her old apartment, because Laure didn't go back to that apartment. Laurie's dead. Dead. As far as people are concerned. Laure died in the befallment of the Grand Paris Opera House, or whatever. So I'm wondering if Coralie's mother, or even Augur, if somebody goes back to that apartment, finds the stuff that Laure left, that Coralie left. Because I don't think Laure has Josephine's phone in her possession when when the book ends. So I'm thinking somebody finds that phone. Somebody finds all the information on that phone, because Laure bypassed the fingerprint and undid the password. And so now somebody knows about Lethe and Acheron, aside from, our titular 3, Laure, Gatora, and Andor. So I'm wondering if it's something like that. Other than that, I don't know. Or maybe Laure will become a villain. Like, will become the antagonist of the next book. No idea. I don't know what to expect. I know that this is pulled from a lot of Greek mythology. So maybe some clues lie in Greek mythology surrounding the 2 of the lesser known rivers of the underworld. Any way you slice it, though, I'm looking forward to it. I'm invested, and I can't wait to see what Jameson Shea has in store for us next. So that's it for my review. I'm so sorry if it wasn't coherent. I'm sorry if I went on some rambles. My next review, though, I'm gonna pick this up. Death at the Morning House by Maureen Johnson. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you. Goodbye.